We are rolling, common work.
Long story short, I'm not quite sure how to tell this story. It's a complicated story. It's probably been about 25 years. Uncle Glen asked me to tell the world what he envisioned. The seed of this whole story came when I received that package in the mail that fateful day in Los Angeles.
Come on, Bill. You put one leg on one side and the other leg on the other side.
She's got a choice, and her choice is hers. I've got a choice, too, to buy condoms.
I was like, what the hell? What's going on?
What the hell did we decide on?
It was strange, and I watched it, and I had to watch it again. And I showed this to people, and they were like, oh, what are you gonna do with it? I wasn't sure how to react. I was so conflicted. In the sleeve of the VHS tape was this little handwritten letter. He left instructions of things he wanted me to do, but I don't think he knew how hard it would be. Anyway, it sometimes takes a long time. It seems like that this thing has been simmering and growing and growing. I wasn't exactly sure what it was going to be, but when you get to a crossroads, you take whatever action you can, and you just have to tell the story. Okay, Mom, tell us about Uncle Glen.
Well, he was very good looking, tall, big. You know, he was absolutely charming, but yet a little fruity. And from day one, he argued and discussed things that were so silly, such as the earth is pear-shaped.
He, kind of went to a different drummer. But at 17, he decided he was going into the Army.
And Glenn and another guy went to the Snake River, went AWOL, and to look for gold, and their car ran off a cliff.
He got a dishonorable discharge, and Glenn went back to Charleston, and God knows what he did.
He decided he wanted to become a developer. Started the developing, I think he got about 25 acres. He got his own tractor, he got his bulldozer.
He was making roads, sectioning off land, he was selling it to all these people. They were all excited about this neighborhood. He had put his big giant house up in this development. It was like the first house out there. It was tricked out. This home had everything. I mean, a spa, he had a hot tub. He just forgot the kitchen. And I remember being in there, and he was like, well, I'll just, he was just gonna, I don't know what the hell he was gonna do. He was gonna put an oven and all and some different things in the living room. It's kind of a blur to me now, but he lost his home and probably his car and God knows what else he had going on because of the selling all the land that he didn't quite own. There's a lot of confusion about the land.
The state offered him a deal of a 30 days suspended sentence if he admit that he broke the law. He says, no, I didn't break the law.
There was a family court judge in charge of Uncle Glen's case.
He was running for a larger court.
He wanted people to understand he's tough on any crime.
Uncle Glen had a couple of attorneys that weren't really that good. They didn't even call any witnesses. And the judge said, 25 years.
But somehow, I happen to know some people at the state penitentiary. I called the warden, and it was not very long after that that he was released.
My mom sort of rescued him. She did.
Oh, absolutely. I did it.
When he got out of jail, he had trouble getting a job. So he was living with Aunt Vesta and Mother in Swansea in a little double-wide trailer.
Glenn spent a lot of time in the pump house. And he had a little desk set up out there and some of the other stuff, and he loved to go there and smoke pot.
Uncle Glen was a dreamer. So he corralled his thoughts, and he got a chainsaw, and he went out to some tree, and he carved a big I and an F.
If.
Big brown if, probably 6 feet high.
And he put it out on the little country road, and he wanted to teach seminars about what if.
If you did this, you could do that. If you didn't do this, you couldn't do that, and whatever. So it's just a series of ifs.
He was dressing up in these robes.
He had his whole theology. It was like his little religion. I think he believed it. And at around the same time as the What If, he also wanted to develop makeup for men. Some of it was kind of like an Indian war paint, and some of it was more creative with glitter.
Well, it actually came as a part of this, of the if, because it wasn't war paint as such. It was just makeup.
You'd wear a suit and you'd go to your business meeting with your war paint on.
Everything he did was strange. I don't know anything that wasn't strange about him. He just was such a bird of rare plumage. I don't know what else to say. Glen's cousin, Patsy, and I do not know her last name, and if I did, I probably wouldn't tell you. But anyway, she had him committed to the mental hospital.
From what I understand, she thought he was being weird.
So we had to go over there and rescue him from that.
He was different. I remember one time he came to our house and he said, "I bet I can beat you in a 40-yard dash." And I remember Dad timed us and I nipped him. I barely beat him. I played sports. I was pretty good at football, but I got hurt and they said I couldn't play sports anymore. So I started playing music. So I went off to college. This teacher came to me and said, "Have you ever taken an acting class?" And I had never. I went and took an acting class, and it was like, oh my God. I flew out to Los Angeles and auditioned for a play, and I nailed it. This is a dream, man. It's a dream come true. I was in the thick of it. You know, some stuff was horrible I was doing, some stuff was good.
Oh, 501, mate. That's us 501. Close, though.
And one day, there was this package. This is the case and the VHS tape that came to me. It was from Uncle Glen. And it was a life changer.
You sure going to Buford and have a party?
Yes.
Go to the beach?
Yeah. When we got
Have fun?
Yes. When we got
Yeah, anytime you want to put your bikini on.
it's at a game.
I couldn't react. I was frozen.
Mark, set, go.
There was a jockey in the video that was kind of the star.
I'm Mike Roy. I win the All-American on Go Dig Go in 1966. History! I'm history!
There was this girl, this guy with the missing tooth, some other folks who went four-wheeling.
Y'all going four-wheeling?
I don't know where he found these people.
He's won more races than any jockey in the world. He's history. He's gonna make history.
Just tripping.
I realized in short order that it was not a joke. Uncle Glen is serious about it. It was raw footage of Uncle Glen directing a commercial.
Now we have a choice.
And it was contraceptive panties. There were panties with a condom built into the front.
The woman wears the panties all the time so she can be ready.
As long as I'm with my baby, I ain't got to worry about where she's buying condoms or not, because she's got her own.
When I first received the tape of the commercial, I guess it's the commercial or whatever it was, I thought it was kind of hilarious.
Did Mike Roy just make history? Say that.
Mike Roy just made history.
No. Did
Made history.
no. Did Mike Roy just make history?
Mike Roy just made history. Did make history.
Did Mike Roy?
Did make history.
No. Did Mike Roy?
Okay, Mike Roy just made history.
Did.
I'm thinking, this is a wild ride. I don't know what is happening here. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
What do you think about the hygienic panties? You have tried them with me.
In other words, the guy likes them too.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
He can say anything. Say, well, it's about time.
But I
Yeah,
feel
so just say anything, something short. Yeah.
Let's say let a man don't wear condom. So woman's got the word in now.
Okay, we ready. Are we?
Let's go to bed and put some panties on.
Nothing about sex. This is gonna be...
Making a commercial for this product would have been difficult for anybody.
Now look at this right here. This is our invention. This is hygienic panties. Even though this is a bowl.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
You know, shit, you got to get down and talk.
This was not an easy product to sell. They were hideous. But they were kind of brilliant.
Say go.
Go.
Anointing instructions. Have a medical checkup. 2. Step in snug to waist. 3. Pull tab just prior to penetration. 4. Replace cover for later disposal of membrane. 5. Have a medical checkup.
Stop.
Uncle Billy and Dad thought it was kind of sick, but I didn't. I mean, I thought it could work.
He had rented a little plant, small building, and he had set up equipment to manufacture the stuff with.
That was what he was doing at the time. He had invented contraceptive panties, hygienic panties. He thought this would be a way for him to make not $1 million, $1 billion. In the sleeve of the VHS tape was this little handwritten letter that I pulled out. And this is what it said. He says, Dear Jeff, this video maybe could use some professional touching up.
And bend over this and blow in. Hard.
I didn't say put your head into it.
And he had instructions for me to do certain things. He wanted me to produce it.
Well, he wanted you to promote it because he didn't know how.
I was in Hollywood. I was making some things happen, and he wanted me to contact Liz Taylor.
Liz was involved with the AIDS, and that she wanted to eradicate it if she could.
Tell America why you're here tonight.
Why?
Why?
You mean you don't know already?
Tell us again.
I'm here to help fight AIDS.
And Glenn had it in his mind that if I could just contact Elizabeth Taylor, she'd be all over it because she really was doing things to change the way people looked at AIDS.
And Glenn was doing it right at a time when these really bad diseases like AIDS was coming into being.
You had the choice of wearing the panties, or you had the choice of catching sexually transmitted diseases.
And he continued to stay after me to contact Elizabeth Taylor, as well as Magic Johnson.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
And everybody saw Magic, do that announcement, which was heavy. Glenn was thinking, hey, contact his agent and maybe he'll make himself available for you to do something with the hygienic panty. He hit me with a bunch of letters about this. The jockey even says it.
Now it's time for magic.
He's talking about Magic Johnson. I couldn't contact those guys with the commercial that he sent me.
Hygienic panties. Now we have a choice. Also, we have an obligation.
With every letter that came, I felt guilty. I didn't want to discourage him or not make the effort, but I didn't know what to do.
We'd been in LA maybe 2 years. Uncle Glen, that I kept hearing about, sends this tape. This weird-ass panty condom commercial. We invited a bunch of friends over to watch it, and it became sort of a cult hit. Jeff would come home from work, and there'd be a room full of theater people, and we'd all be laughing and drinking, and we'd have the Uncle Glen video on because people would come over to watch it. Jeff had a more perplexed, kind of worried, sad expression on his face, because, he had this whole history of Glen. And I think Jeff felt responsible to make sure something happened with this. And then life happened. We got married, we had kids, we moved, But I could tell he was really feeling like I should probably do something with that. And then his Uncle Glen was in the hospital. Jeff went out to visit him, played guitar for him.
Hold on now. Laying soft against my skin, like the shadows on the wall.
Glen was laughing, and, it was the last time he saw him.
I don't care who's right or wrong. I don't care to understand.
And it was after that he came back and was kind of single-minded about making sure this happened.
Lord, tonight I need a friend.
Beautiful. You've done good, Glenn. You did a fantastic job. You did.
Honestly, I wasn't sure what to do. I thought maybe I could make, a novelty version of the panty, but I couldn't do that. And he had wanted me to make a commercial, but I couldn't make a commercial if I didn't have the product to sell. All my friends were saying, just throw it up on YouTube. But that didn't feel right. And I was looking at it, and I thought to myself, the seed of this whole story came when I received that package in the mail that fateful day in Los Angeles. So I reread the note. Dear Jeff, saw your movies. I thought you should have been the star. Maybe you could get a group to do a advertising tape. And then it was like a light went off to me. I'm like, it's right there in the note. If nothing else, maybe this video will be fun to watch. And then he said, if this will make a skit for a play, do it. And then it all made sense. I couldn't make a skit, but I could make a film. So I grabbed my camera, sat my family down, and we talked about the hygienic panty.
It was quite an amazing thing.
It was a dumb thing to do.
Actually, it wasn't a bad idea.
He was probably smoking pot.
Choice is hers.
I look at it with a profound difference than I did 25 years ago. I realize he kind of gave us a roadmap to laugh and to stay together. And some great stories came out.
He got a chair, pulled it up next to the pinball machine, stood on it, pulled the pecker out, and peed on the pinball machine. He loved attention.
We went to Almond Beach to spend the honeymoon. And 2 days later, guess what? Glen and his family were there.
He was probably always misunderstood, but he had a good heart. He would do anything for you. Even if it meant using somebody else's money, he would do anything for you. Regardless of what else he did do, he always did make you laugh.
He was an extreme character, but he was way more than Uncle Glen's hygienic panty. And I loved him. He was my uncle. And I thought, if I could share this story, maybe that could really be his gift that would keep on giving. Because it's not only Uncle Glen's story, it's my story, my kid's story. It's who we are. And you know what? It was something bigger than him. We all want to do something bigger than ourself. He actually wanted to help mankind. He really did. He wanted to probably fill his pockets along the way, but he wanted to help mankind.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You just made history.
Thank you.
If it doesn't get more than a laugh, he loved making people laugh. I think he'd be cool with that.